drugs. So if you feel it is a serious clinical problem, I would suggest you seek medical attention, Sarkhan. So I do wish you luck. I do have a course on the Udemy platform, the Complete Focus Mastery course. You may get some tips from that. So I'd urge you to check that out. If I can be at all helpful, please let me know. Special hello to our friends on TikTok is joining us. This is live, and I see that the Conquer 2019 is asking if this is live. Yes, it is live. You don't have Facebook or Netflix. Well, good for you. You've got TikTok. That's great. The Conqueror says, I cannot turn my cell phone off. Now, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. If you are the only surgeon in a small town, and if there's a car crash, if you don't get to the hospital in 5 minutes, someone will die, and you're on duty, yes, I understand you need to have your cell phone on, but most people are not like that. Now, I understand you're not alone if you feel that your cell phone has to be on, but ask yourself this. How did all human beings for the last 200,000 years until 15 years ago manage to go through life without a cell phone on at all times? Somehow they managed. And I don't mean to sound unsympathetic. You may have a close family member who is in a hospital near death's door. Maybe, but just realize human beings were capable of extraordinary feats of artistry, beauty, design, invention throughout human history. None of them until 15 years ago were tethered to a live phone every second of the day. So I'm interested in you telling me why you can't turn your phone off. What's the worst that could happen? And it may be something I'm unaware of, but I am interested. I certainly am comfortable maintaining that the vast majority of human beings, most of the time, can turn their cell phone off. And if they're trying to do something of extreme importance, if they're really trying to study, learn something, create something, it is possible to carve out some time on your schedule, even if it's just 2 hours a day, to turn off your cell phone. So please give that some thought. And I see that Alga Dumini has joined us on TikTok as well. Thanks for joining us. So Deng, I hope that gave you a tip or two. Good luck. Also, oh no, I'm sorry, that one was from Zahid. I also have a message, this came in on the Facebook platform, from Deng. It says, hello, how can I change my lifestyle? Now by lifestyle, I'm gathering you mean your life. Sometimes lifestyle for people just means how well they travel, how many things they have, and therefore looking to make more money. Money can be a part of your life and your life habits, but it's only one part of it. This show and everything I'm about is really designed to help you influence your own habits to change your life. If there's something in your life right now you're not happy with it, ask yourself, what is it you are doing that creates this unhappiness? If you are one of the 42% of Americans, for example, who is obese these days, you weren't born obese, so you have to look at what are your habits that got you there. I'm not going to talk about obesity again like I did yesterday, but just ask yourself, what are the habits that got you there? And then what are the habits that most, not all, but most healthy people who are the appropriate weight have? And then copy those habits. So without knowing more, Deng, about your specific goals in life, what you're trying to do, I would urge you to forget for a moment about big, lofty goals, big aspirations, I want to be a billionaire, all this macro stuff, and instead, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I'd like to know, what is it you do on a daily basis? Because the habits you do on a daily basis pretty much decide your lifestyle, your life, your near-term success, and your long-term success. Show me what somebody does in a typical day, and not always, but I can normally predict for you the level of success and happiness and health they're going to have 5, 10, 20 years from now, if they continue the same habits. Now, plenty of people have unhealthy lifestyles at certain stages of their life, teenagers, people in their early 20s, and then get really serious when they're in their 30s. Better late than never, but you can't necessarily count on that. These days we see teenagers dying of heart attacks because they are in such poor health. It's not at all uncommon for 28-year-olds who never exercise and eat poor food to have strokes and become paralyzed. It's not at all uncommon in the United States and in the Western world. So don't assume you can always wait until the future. When you're a teenager, 30 seems like a million miles away. When you're 30 years old, 50 seems like a million years away. When you're 50, things start getting together faster and faster, and the years rush along. And at some point you realize all you really have is today. If you want to improve your life, if you want to focus on better habits, there's no better time than right now. Today. Today is the time to build better habits. Special hello to Kidlaw and several other friends who've just joined us on TikTok, our friends joining us on Facebook and YouTube as well. Okay, I want to go a little deeper into a subject right now that really covers a whole array of good habits and look at it through the lens of how certain experiences in life can either pull out good habits from you or reveal bad habits. I specifically want to go over the habits of knowing when to pivot. Everybody has to make a pivot in life, whether it's your job, your career, your business, relationships. You have to make a change. If you do it too soon, you didn't give something a fair chance. If you do it too late, you could possibly ruin your career or your life. This also relates to listening, really listening to your customers, your clients, your audience, your tribe, your family members. The skill of listening is an extraordinarily important habit to have. Another important habit, developing self-awareness. Some people have many talents in life, but they have no idea how the rest of the world sees them. They think they're either so great or so awful. They don't have an accurate sense of really how the rest of the world judges them. The next habit I'm going to talk about is being flexible. So much of being a happy, successful, fulfilled person, someone who finds purpose in life, I believe, is the ability to be flexible, to not be so dogmatic about there's only one way, only one solution, one technique that works. You must have flexibility. Additionally, I believe one good habit that all successful people have is they recognize the sunk cost theory. That is the cost where once you've spent money, don't keep spending more money on it and more time on it just because you've already spent it in the past. Those costs are sunk. You have to look at everything starting today, the future, and the present. You cannot try to recover losses from the past by digging deeper into something that's losing for you now. The final habit, and I'm going to tie all these together for you shortly so you can see where I'm going with this. The final habit that I think is incredibly important to cultivate as an individual who's trying to be successful, who's trying to live a life with purpose, who's trying to reach full potential, is the habit of failing frequently. If you do not fail frequently, you are not pushing yourself hard enough. You're not trying enough new things. Classic example of Thomas Edison, who had 10,000 experiments on a light bulb before he got one that works. If he had stopped after one or two or three, I guess we'd be sitting around with candles now. You have to be able to fail, and fail frequently. No one likes to fail. I don't like to fail. But ultimately, that's where successes come from. Which brings me to the big topic of today. The big lesson that relates to habits for today is me and this show. I won't say sad, but I do recognize it's a transition. Today is the last day for this live show. Now, fear not, it's not the last day of the Habit Influencer or me or my courses or videos on our Facebook page or YouTube page or any of the other content that I create and Marceau and my team here create. But this is the last day of the live version of the Habit Influencer show. And the reason is, for all of these I just mentioned, sometimes you have to know when to pivot. It's time for me and my team to pivot our resources to an even better job of making 7 to 10 minute videos that you can watch on YouTube and Facebook on your schedule. We have so many great members of this community who have written to me saying, TJ, I'd love to watch the show, but I'm in India, I'm in Thailand, I can't be up at 1 in the morning. Well, I have listened to you. So a live show just doesn't work for a lot of people around the world. So that's the second big habit I really want to stress is you've got to listen to people. And sometimes it's what they say, but frankly, sometimes it's what they don't say. I've enjoyed this show. It has been one of the most enjoyable projects for me. This is the end of our second full month of doing daily shows. And I love the fact that Sai and Fresh Tribes and Muhammad and Peggy and Dwayne and so many of you have been good, strong, regular viewers, commenters, community members. But I also listen to the people who don't comment, don't ask questions, and it's telling me, not that there's anything wrong with them, but that I haven't done a good enough job of really building a mass community here to support a show like this. It was simply premature. There's not enough of a community here to really start off and kick off a show in a way that it can have a big impact. So sometimes you have to listen to the audience, what they say. Some of you have told me you love my content, you love the short form on TikTok, you love the quote cards on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, but you never got around to watching the live show, or you did once, it's just not convenient. You have a full-time job, you have other things going on. So I am listening to you. The next habit that relates to all this that I believe is important for people who want to be successful and lead happy and fulfilling lives is a sense of self-awareness. I like doing this. I think I'm a good host. I think I'm articulate. But if I'm self-aware, I have to be honest with myself and realize, okay, we've been doing this for a couple of months and we're not growing by 10,000 new viewers a day or even 1,000 viewers a day. It's gone up, it's gone down, it's plateaued, but it's clearly not growing to the levels that it really needs to be an interesting, sustainable show that has a huge variety of questions, comments, thoughts, reflections from a widely growing community. So I'm self-aware of that. I still think I'm great. I still think I have a lot of talents, but I'm self-aware enough to know that I started something here and it didn't turn into magic. It didn't just explode overnight and turn into something powerful. Now, I'm not giving up on my central mission. My central mission is helping people build better habits. I'm more committed to that than ever, and I'll give you more details in a moment on exactly how I plan on doing that and continuing to do that. The next big habit I think that's essential for people, be flexible. That's what I'm talking about here. I have tried to help millions of people around the globe through the vehicle of this live show, 1 to 3 each day, Eastern Time. But I realize there's a lot of other ways. There are YouTube videos, Facebook videos, on-demand videos, blogs, texts, books, online courses. You can't be wedded to only one approach and say my way or no way. You have to be flexible, and that's what I'm trying to do here as well. The final really important habit that I believe is essential for anyone who is going to be successful in life, happy in life, be fulfilled, is you have to fail frequently. You have to fail often. All of my successes in life have happened because I wasn't afraid to fail. I am one of, hope this doesn't sound bragging, but I'm one of the most successful online instructors in the world. Nearly 1 million online student enrollments on various platforms. The #1 communication skills online trainer on the #1 platform in the world. How did I do that? Well, I did it because the first 6 courses I published on the biggest platform out there basically did nothing for half a year. I made $50 my first 6 months on the Udemy platform. And now I sell thousands of courses, sometimes in a day. Would not have happened if I had not been afraid to fail. I have about 20 different courses that have become bestsellers on the #1 online training platform in the world. 20 courses. That's a lot more than almost anyone in the world. And yet, the reason my courses have been successful is I had 120 courses that did not sell well, that were basically failures of a sort, or they weren't home runs. To use an American baseball analogy, they were singles, minor hits, minor successes, but not bestsellers, didn't make that much money. That is a part of life. So this show, I've had a lot of fun, made some new friends, have learned a lot. It's deepened my understanding of habits, what people are going through. It's made me a lot better as a habit expert. But I have to be honest, at some point it is some type of a failure. Now, it's not a failure that I don't regret doing it. It's not a financial failure because it's mostly my time and energy put into this. But it's a failure in the sense that it didn't become some big success. I'm happy I did it because I've learned so much and because it's going to make me even better as an expert to help people build their own strong habits. So that's sort of the big opening topic of the day. And we'll be coming back to this throughout the day. Please, if you have any comments and you want to say a special hello to Marceau or thank you to Marceau, more than happy to hear from you. And again, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here every single day. It just won't be live. So if you're saying, well, I kind of like the show, I'm going to miss it, fear not. I want you to go every single day to YouTube or Facebook and watch one of our 7 to 10 minute videos. There'll be a new one every day. Go to TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest. I'll be doing another new video every day. And in a couple of weeks, my blog will debut at tjwalker.com, and I will have a lengthy 700 to 1,000 word column every single day about how to build better habits. So if you're wanting more TJ, there's going to be more and more available to you. It just won't be in this particular format. Let's go to YouTube and check in. Sunny Fridge Consulting writes, I'm a first timer. Look forward to watching recorded content. Well, Sunny, thank you so much for joining us today. Interesting, this is your first time. This is the last time we're doing the show. So we're not blaming you for bad luck. It wasn't your fault. But if you're interested in learning more about habits, please come back to the YouTube channel. I believe even in the last 3 months, you'll see more original, high-quality content related to helping you build strong habits than any other YouTube channel out there. Certainly, there's some YouTube channels that have great videos, but typically it's one a month, that sort of thing. We've been producing consistently every day. And I say we, this is a good time to thank my colleague and producer and executive producer, Marceau Lewis. Marceau, thank you for all the hard work you've done on this show. This is a very technically complex thing, and you've done an admirable job of the technical aspects of making a show like this work.
Well, thank you. You're saying it like we're done, like we're wrapping up. Like we're just getting started.
That's right.
One thing is kind of slowing down a little bit, that's all.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm saying this in the last show. Let me be really official. This show is going on hiatus. That's a fancy word for we're pausing it. We don't really know when it's coming back. You see various TV sitcoms say that. Most of the time they're not coming back. I say hiatus. By that I mean if you can help me build a much larger audience, and let's define that. Right now I've got 25,000 Facebook followers. If we can build the Facebook page to 500,000, believe me, I'll bring the show back because we'll have enough audience, enough demand, enough interaction, enough questions to make it all worthwhile. Or if you can help me get my YouTube channel up to 500,000 subscribers, then it will be easy and frankly profitable to bring back a daily show and be worthy of the investment of time and energy. So it's not even goodbye forever for the live show. But on Monday, if it's 1 o'clock and you're clicking around looking for what happened, nothing happened to me. It's just we're focusing our energies on the produced videos, the short form videos, the blog, all the other comments and insights we give you in the quote cards for Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and all the other social media platforms. And my friends on TikTok, I'll still be with you every single day. I love TikTok, and it's a lot of fun to come there really 7 days a week, even when I'm on vacation, even weekends, even holidays. I love doing a quick 15-second tip of the day on how to build better habits. So I'm not going away. Don't worry about that. I'm TJ Walker. This is the Habit Influencer. This is the last regularly scheduled Habit Influencer show. We still have more to come today. Don't go away. I'll be back after this brief break. And my friends on TikTok are not breaking, but we'll be back. We're just taking...
This is a Chucky Beat production.
Welcome back to the Habit Influencer. I'm your host, TJ Walker. Thanks for joining me. We are live. It is Friday, February 28th, 2020. Normally, this is the end of the month, but this is leap year. So tomorrow is a day of February. So don't forget that. Tomorrow is not March 1st. I have an uncle who was actually born on February 29th. I always meant to ask him, how many years old does he consider himself? He only has a birthday technically every 4 years. It kind of seems like an unfair thing to happen to a kid, but I think he's gotten over it at this point. He's older than I am. So I hope you enjoy your extra day this year. Let's check in with some of our friends on YouTube. Mr. Says, hello, sir. How are you? I am feeling fantastic. I got to tell you, it's a beautiful sunny day here in New York. A little cool and crisp. I'm looking forward to a beautiful walk outdoors after the show today. Roger writes, loved your show even though I wasn't interested in habits. Well, that is high praise. So I can't even imagine why you would want to watch the show if you weren't interested in habits. But Roger, that's nice to hear. You answered my question on speaking, and that was worth the value of your show for me. Thanks so much for your efforts. So yes, I do talk about not just personal development habits, but communication habits. I'll continue talking about that. So Roger, if you ever have a question that relates to public speaking, go to my Facebook page, go to the YouTube channel, post your question, and I will definitely respond to you. I may record a whole video just for you answering your question in detail. So Roger, thanks for those kind words. Roger says, I've purchased many of your Udemy programs that I haven't that I wouldn't have if I hadn't seen you on this show. Well, that is music to my ears. You are a real public speaking master and someone I will continue to follow for years to come. Well, Roger, thanks a lot. And I am going to have another new course come out on Udemy probably in the next 48 hours, and it relates to how you can promote your business on the TikTok platform, a platform that I've only been on for 4 months, but it's such a new platform that puts me 4 months ahead of a lot of other people. And I have been experimenting through trial and error, just like with this show, every day. I've now done more than 100 videos on TikTok, and I do have some sense of what works and what doesn't work. So, Roger, take a look at that course when it comes out. I hope you may find it useful. And my co-instructor on the TikTok marketing course is none other than our own Marceau Lewis. So that'll give you a chance to spend a little more time listening to Marceau and finding out some of his insights. Didar has written in, "Hi TJ, I'm from Bangladesh." Well, great to hear from you. Glad you're able to join us from Bangladesh. We have so many great regulars who are followers, regulars of this show, people who are active on the Facebook page and YouTube page, and in my online courses on Udemy from India and Pakistan. Don't have nearly as many from Bangladesh, but it's a very large country in terms of population. Glad you're here with us, and hope you can get a lot out of the content that I put forth on the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, and coming up on the blog, as well as the Udemy courses as well. So thanks so much for saying hello. And I see some other friends have joined us on TikTok. BL Dozier 34 has joined us. Thanks for stopping by on TikTok today. We are doing, and thanks for the thumbs up. We're doing you through our cell phone today, not through the regular feed, so that's why you see me staring off into space like that. Okay, I want to dive into a topic that all relates to our big theme today, this theme of transition. But it's something I don't think gets enough attention, and that is anyone who's serious about building good habits, strong habits, has to be optimistic, and you have to have a positive focus. The two go together. Because if you're not optimistic about your habits, why bother changing? If you tell yourself, I'm pessimistic, things are going to get worse, well, why try to have better eating habits? You'll just go back to the old ones. Why try to eliminate drinking soft drinks? You'll just start again and you'll probably gain even more weight. Pessimism is something that destroys the ability to build stronger habits. So a lot of times in our popular culture, we like to make fun of optimistic people. Oh, look at this naive person. He's walking around with rose-colored glasses. He's not a realist. Well, I am a realist, and I can tell you, if you want a realistic chance of improving your habits in any aspect of life, in health, wealth, personal relationships, your creativity, your career, you need to be optimistic. Doesn't mean blindly optimistic or naive, but you have to feel like the future is going to get better. Otherwise, all your motivation to start a new positive habit gets zapped. It completely disappears. Now, linked to this, a related quality is the quality of having a positive attitude and a positive focus. This is why a lot of habits experts, I used to disagree with this and I now agree, say you shouldn't post the picture of yourself on the refrigerator door with your big belly sticking way. I've done that before. You think it's motivating you to eat less, but it's a downer. It's depressing. That is not the way to motivate. You're far better off putting a picture of yourself from when you were 15 years old or whenever you were at your physical peak as a visual reminder, here's the potential. Here's what you're aiming for. Here's what you want to do. It's human. You might not think of yourself as a positive thinker. You may roll your eyes at someone like Norman Vincent Peale and his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. But human beings, I believe, overwhelmingly react much better when they're focused on something positive rather than negative. It is true. Hatred, fear, those are strong emotions that can motivate. And if you just had a heart attack because you're obese and your doctor said if you don't instantly switch to a diet that is all salad and carrots or you'll die in 30 days, it may be that's enough motivation for you to radically change your diet and avoid the steak and cookies and ice cream and cake and packages of garbage you've been eating. That fear of dying may be enough. But most of us don't have that eye-opening moment. It's subtler than that. And that's why thinking in terms of fear, I hate doing this, I don't want to do this anymore, avoiding it, isn't the best way to create change. It's far better to have some positive goal. Rather than telling yourself, I'm not allowed to eat ice cream's bad for me, I'm going to stay away from ice cream, I know it's tasty and I want it, it's delicious, but it's going to make me fat and increase my sugar levels and cholesterol levels. That's negative, negative, negative. Far better off focusing on a positive agenda, a positive goal, a positive habit. Right before this show started, I had a tasty lunch and I had a very tasty dessert. But the dessert wasn't a big bowl of ice cream. Instead, I had a large bowl of raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, and plain yogurt, and a couple of little M&Ms. Chocolate chips. So very, very little processed sugar, lots of fresh fruit, and the fruit I had is the kind of fruit that has lower sugar content than, for example, grapes, and then yogurt, plain yogurt without any sugar added. That's what I had, and you know what? It was incredibly tasty and filling. So I'm not thinking the whole time, oh, I really want to have that ice cream, and oh, I'm depriving myself, and let me use every inch of willpower to stay away from the ice cream. My focus wasn't on avoiding the ice cream. My focus was on enjoying this great habit that I've cultivated of eating lots of fresh fruit with yogurt. So I urge you, when you're trying to improve your life, whether it's your health, your finances, your creativity, your lifelong learning projects, focus on positive things that make you feel good. You've heard me, you've heard so many other habits experts over the years talk about, in order for something to become a habit, you need a reward. That's something positive. You need, any habit, even a bad habit, gives you a reward. If you are a chain smoker, lighting up that cigarette is going to feel good to you. That rush of the nicotine will make you feel good. That's a type of reward. That's not the kind of rewards we want, though. You want to focus on positive habits and the positive rewards you get from those habits. When I bite into that spoonful of raspberry and blackberry and blueberry with the creaminess of the fresh yogurt, that's a reward. It tastes good. It feels good. It also feels healthy. And it doesn't make me stuffed and feel bloated either. And it also doesn't get instantly converted to fat. So that's my challenge to you, is to figure out how can you focus your habits exclusively in a positive direction. Because if you spend enough time focusing on positive habits, gradually you'll squeeze out the negative habits. You can't every single night say, oh gosh, I know I want to watch 3 more hours of Netflix, but I promised myself I'd only watch 1. Oh, let me be really self-disciplined. Let me be motivated and pull the remote control out of my hands. Oh, this is going to be awful, but it's going to be good for me. If that is your attitude, the habit's probably not going to stick. you've got to find some positive habit that gives you joy. Now, everyone's different. For me, what I did to substitute that television habit and that video consumption habit was to read books I actually enjoy. And sometimes I'll buy a book that's a little too ancient in the philosophy, and maybe it's an old dusty book and I just can't get into it. I don't force myself to, well, I bought it, I started, I'm going to go through the whole, I just will put it aside. Might not ever come back to it. I then find a book that I do enjoy, that I can dive into, that I can sink my teeth into. And that is what motivates me. I'm finding something I want to read. And for me right now, I love reading books about habits. I love looking at all the expertise in the world, all the variety of habits experts, and distilling what I find are the unique nuggets in all of them and trying to blend them together to share with you, whether it's on this show or my daily long-form videos on YouTube and Facebook, or my 15-second videos on TikTok, or in my text summaries on other social media platforms. That's what I like to do. For you, you might not want to read it all. You might simply want to spend more time having conversations with your family members or friends. You might want to knit. You might want to spend your evenings painting or drawing, actively creating something rather than sitting back passively watching other people's entertainment. Because unfortunately, that is the de facto default mode of how so many people in the world spend their evenings. Passively sitting back, consuming other people's creativity. Now, I do watch some video entertainment. I try to limit my consumption to certainly no more than, on average, 1 hour a day, which sounds restrictive if you're used to watching 4 or 5 hours of TV at night and perhaps all weekend long sports. It sounds like it's wildly restrictive. But if you average 1 hour a day, you can easily watch 100 movies a year that way. And they're not 100 great movies made every year. So it's more than enough time to watch a lot of good quality entertainment. So don't feel sorry for me for limiting it to 1 hour. I'm TJ Walker. This is the final episode of The Habit Influencer. It's been a great privilege and a lot of fun for me and Marceau to be able to spend time with you every day for the last couple of months. And some of you who signed on early may remember we did some preview shows even way back in November and some in December. So some of you have been with us for 4 months, and some of you I know have been with me since my first YouTube video way back in either 2005 or 2006. I started about 6 months after YouTube went on. And some family members may even have seen me since the very first video I ever did way back in junior high school in the 1970s. So some of you, most of you have not been following me for that long. And as we saw today, one of you just signed on today for the very first time. So happy that you can join us, whether you're an old-time, long-time viewer, member of the community, or brand new. Let's check in. I see another question, or someone asking permission to ask a question on YouTube. This comes from Mr. Shh. Sir, can I ask you one question? You absolutely can. You can ask me any question you want. So feel free to post that regardless on what platform you're on. I see a number of our friends have joined us on Instagram today, as well as UpLive. I see Mandana has joined us, Gorshad has joined us, Mark Holland has joined us and sent me a crystal ball. So thanks so much for that. Apple Nugget says hello and has joined us as well. So really appreciate hearing from so many of you. My good friend Patrick has joined us. Patrick, thanks so much for joining the program today. If you're just joining us, this is a quick update in that this is the last regularly scheduled live program we're doing of The Habit Influencer. And by the way, I certainly have the right to come back anytime I want and do a special. So if if the mood hits me, or if I just miss you too much, I may want to do a live show. Or if I get sufficient feedback and questions and critiques and comments on the videos on Facebook and YouTube, and enough of you ask for it, I may come back and do one-offs or occasional once a month type show too. So not ruling anything out. The main thing I try to do is to rule stuff in and ask myself, what is working? What's the best use of my time for me to help as many of you as possible? And I've simply concluded I'm better off investing my time in helping you reach more people by producing a great quality 1,000-word text article every single day, which I've been writing for the last 4 months, but I haven't been posting because I haven't created the blog yet because I've been focused on this show. So that'll free up my time to do that. Marceau's time will be more freed up to make even higher quality produced videos that you can see on not only YouTube, Facebook, but will soon be coming on Tumblr, possibly Dailymotion, and a number of other platforms too. So Marceau, I know that you're looking forward to this transition too. We've been working together now since last year, hope to work with you for many, many years to come. What are some of the production and programming ideas you're hoping to see with Habit Influencer content in the upcoming months?
Just engagement overall, just views, increase the views overall, and people just really, really engaging with the content as a whole. Maybe people buy a book or they ask a ton of questions, or they just engage like in conversation in the comments. A whole lot could happen just in the comments of a post alone, but I just really, really want to do a good job in creating the content in such a thoughtful way with like a end goal in mind, and then seeing all the different reactions from obviously the thousands of people that you reach and you influence on a daily basis. So I'm just really, really interested to see how people consume the content that we produce, especially now that it's going to have so much care taken and be delivered in so many dynamic and impressionable ways. So I'm really, really excited, and I really want to see how people how they take the content, how they deal with it, and engage with it. So.
And believe me, Marceau reads every single comment you leave. I do too. So don't hold back. If you see a video and you see something you don't like, or you think we messed up the audio or video, or something doesn't make sense, share your comments. Give us a critique.
Tell us everything.
Now also, when you see something you like, please let me know. That's one of the exciting things about social media now. You put something up, you get instant feedback. I'll never forget one day I almost didn't do a video for TikTok. It was early in the days of TikTok for me, about 4 months ago. I was in a hurry and I knew I was going to have to leave the house within 20 minutes. Hadn't taken a shower, combed my hair or anything, but I still had the back brace that I use for posture improvement. It's no spinal issue. It's just a brace you put on for 20 minutes a day to improve your posture. I had this brace on. My little hair I have was sticking up funny. And I said, I got one quick idea. And I just did a quick video on TikTok. Boom, got 50,000 views. And my hair was sticking out funny. Again, it looked odd. But people liked the content, and it had tremendous number of comments and a response. And that's the exciting thing about the new world of online media and social media. When you put out something that people like, it resonates, they can let you know. On the other hand, if you put something out and it gets crickets, it gets no comments, that's communication too. That's telling you, maybe there's a mishit here. Maybe you're not doing something right. Maybe you're being boring. Maybe you haven't really connected with your audience. Maybe you didn't research it or think it carefully. So there's always feedback. Whatever you do in life, listen when you can. But remember, you can't listen to people if you don't put something out there. I might not have made this show as popular as some Gary Vee shows, for example, or Conan O'Brien in a traditional broadcast world. but I've learned a tremendous amount. I've learned what doesn't work. Some things I have learned that do work. But the biggest challenge for most people is they don't put anything out there. They don't fail, but they don't try. They're not putting out 15-second videos on TikTok. They're not putting out 7-minute videos on YouTube. And they're not putting out 2-hour live shows on 20 platforms. Now, you don't have to do all of those. And of those, I can now tell you from personal experience, the hardest thing you can do is broadcast across 20 different platforms. If it had worked, then you're the first and it's your genius. But sometimes you try things and it doesn't quite work. That's okay. You still learn. There's still something to be gained from that. I'm TJ Walker. I'd like to thank all of you for spending time with me, not just today, but in the last couple of months. If you have any final questions, again, I say final like I'm going away or retire. I'm not retiring. I'm going to be here in this studio every day making new videos for you, but it just won't be quite as live. It'll be videos on demand, but I'll be reading your comments, reacting to you. When you have suggestions for topics you would like me to make a video on, let me know. Post it any place you see the content on social media. The best place, if you haven't done so already, is my Facebook page. Please like the page, and if you're watching this on TikTok or YouTube or some other platform, just go to facebook.com and type in TJ Walker Personal Development or TJ Walker Habits, and you will see my page. Like the page. The other advantage of being on that page is fairly often I give completely free coupons for a 24-hour period to some of my newest online courses. So it's a great way to get stuff before anyone else does and to get things at a huge discount, and a lot of times to get things for absolutely free. So as much as I love TikTok and UpLive and Instagram and all the others, can't do that on every platform, but can do it on Facebook. So please join the Facebook community, and that's going to be a great way of doing that. We're coming up towards the end, and I will be back in just a moment with concluding comments for the show. Back to the Habit Influencer. I'm your host, TJ Walker. Thanks for joining me. Let's go back to YouTube. We have some comments from some of our friends right there. And Marceau, if you could pull that up. Okay, Mr. Shush says, can I ask you a question? Suppose you need to introduce yourself. How will you introduce yourself? But there are certain conditions, like you can't use your name and your educational background or your family background. Then how will you start your introduction? I'm waiting for your lovely words. Well, thank you so much for your kind words. Here's the secret when it comes to introductions. Most people get it wrong. Most people introduce themselves by saying boring stuff that no one else cares about. So what I would recommend is forget about your family name and educational credentials and all that. Focus on one thing you do that can help people, that would be of interest to them. Let's say you're at a Chamber of Commerce event and everyone's asked to stand up and introduce themselves, a networking event. Most of us have been to something like that in the past. Most people are completely unmemorable. What do? They'll sort of stand up. As you know, my name is T.J. Walker, and I'm president of Media Training Worldwide, and we do media training and presentation training and corporate training, and we're in offices around the awful, boring. I was probably just introduced. I said my name again, boring. My title, no one cares about. Name of my company, no one cares about. And sort of generic descriptions of what I do. That's not interesting. What I would recommend you do is to focus on one thing you do that you think would be of the greatest interest to people in that audience. So for example, when I used to go to National Speaker Association meetings, everyone would sort of stand up and introduce themselves. Now, I teach people public speaking skills. But I know if I'm at a Professional Speakers Association, everybody there thinks they're a great speaker. So they either don't care about me talking about how to be a better speaker, or they're almost insulted, like, well, this guy doesn't know more than I do. I'm a professional speaker. So I don't mention that part of my bio. I don't talk about the name of my company or any of that. I don't even mention my name. So let's go back in time and say 5 years ago I'm at a Speakers Association meeting and I'm stand up. Here's how I would introduce myself. Imagine the New York Times calls you and they want to interview you about your business. You have one shot to talk for 10 minutes. Do you know in advance how to get the exact quotes you want to make yourself look good and promote your business and make it look the best it can look? Hi, I'm T.J. Walker. I teach people how to look their best, sound their best, and get the exact messages they want anytime they speak to the media. If you give me your business card at the end of this meeting, I'll send you a free copy of my book, Media Training A to Z. That's how I introduced myself. And I can tell you, anytime I did that, people remembered me. People came up to me afterwards. People gave me a business card. And relationships were established then in a professional capacity that went on to become something meaningful. Notice what I did. I talked about them before I talked about myself. I talked about a scenario people could relate to. Then I talked about how I could solve that problem. That's what I believe is the best way. Now, my introduction was only about 30 seconds, but it gets people's attention. It's not boring. Whereas we've all seen people, lawyers are often the worst. Hello, my name is blah, 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 and I'm of counsel at Dewey Cheatham and Howe, and we do litigation and corporate and commercial, but it's so generic, it's so abstract, it's incredibly boring, and it sounds exactly like what every other lawyer says who stands up at a networking event. So remember, when you're introducing yourself, it's still a type of presentation. It is a speech of sorts. You might not be using a teleprompter or have some big script, but it's still a type of presentation. Make it interesting. Make it memorable. You might not have time for a full story, but make it engaging. Make it about your audience. Focus on one idea and make it understandable and memorable to people before going to a second idea. And if it's just a brief introduction, don't get greedy. Don't try to tell people your whole bio, where you went to college, the name of your... Nobody cares about that. Here's my challenge to you, Mr. If I'm getting your name right. Ask yourself how much you remember when people introduce themselves to you. If you're like most people, it's probably not that much. So focus on just one or two ideas and you will be better off. Thanks so much for your question. Thanks for stopping by. Marcel, I wanted to give you just a minute or so to say goodbye to everyone, your friends on the show. Again, everyone will be hearing from you regularly because you'll be the one putting together all of our well-produced videos. Plus, you are going to have a starring role in our upcoming course that's about to be published on Udemy, the complete TikTok marketing course, which is coming out next week. So many of you will be hearing even more from Marceau, who is a real technology and social media expert and video and production expert. Marceau, did you have any other kind words or thoughts to share with any of our friends?
I appreciate everybody's time. One thing I've learned about this project is time is very valuable, and time management and being efficient is very important when you do something big. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to show up to the stream and watch it, and everybody that comes back regularly and asks questions and things like that. I really appreciate that. The only thing I can say going forward is just please watch all the content. Anything you want to know, anything you have a question about, I'm going to try to be more of the technical side of anything. So, like, if anybody wants to be like TJ or like launch a project like TJ and has any questions about the technical aspect, like photography and video and computers and things like that, I'll more than make myself available in that aspect. But I just want to thank everybody for their kind words and their time and showing up every day to the show and being part of the community. If anything, we would like more of that going forward with our new, with what we're venturing into next when we pivot.
All right, Marceau, thank you. Thank you for all your great contributions. Look forward to working with you for the years to come. And Marceau just hit on really the most important word, community. This is not a show that's ending. This is a community. The community gets together in a variety of ways, through short form videos, through comments, through discussions, through Facebook, through the blog. The community is going to continue to grow. I'm very much excited about that, happy to be a part of it, and looking forward to working even more closely with you. We're going to sign off a little early today. Get ready for a fun weekend. I hope you have a fun weekend, fun evening, wherever you are. I'm TJ Walker. See you again on YouTube and Facebook and on our videos on demand. Thank you so much. All right, thanks, TikTok.
This is a Chucky Beat production.